Welcome to one of my favorite urban climbs in Olympia. This is Garfield Avenue coming off of West Bay Drive. The average gradient here is 24%. Today's ride was going to take me from home through the heart of Olympia to the Kennedy Creek Summit Lake area just north of Capitol Forest, while avoiding busy streets as much as possible. On the west side of Olympia, this took me through the south end of Capitol High School and Grass Lake Nature Park. Then across the mud bay, but eventually I had to spend a couple of miles on the shoulder of the highway. I got started early in the morning, so there was not much traffic to contend with, and the shoulder on Highway 101 is much nicer than the shoulder on most of the 55 miles an hour country roads. One of the landmarks in the northern end of Capitol State Forest are the power lines. Looking at satellite images of the area makes it particularly easy to identify where they run. As you can see, I will be passing under them 6 times on this route. While there are maintenance roads that go under the power lines do often pass through private land, so it's only when the lines are on land that allow recreation that we get to see these towers up close. The Kennedy Creek Natural Area Preserve is partially managed by the Department of Natural Resources, who protects the watershed as one of the most productive chum salmon runs of the region. But parts are still managed for timber use, and riding through the fresh-cut forest, you are enveloped by the smell of fresh pine. Just south of Summit Lake, it is time to get back on pavement for about 3 miles, before connecting up with the S-Line Gravel 2 track and getting back into the forest. At this time of the day, the road was quiet and I was joined by some graceful deer. By now the sun had burned off most of the morning fog and the sun was starting to come out. We had frost overnight, and when I started out, I had hand warmers in my shoe covers. On the back side of Summit Lake, I met up with the power lines again. Back here there's a great climb up the S3000, which offers some amazing views of Summit Lake. I put up the drone thinking that it would put the climb into perspective, but I had to follow too closely to be able to get a good view. top of this hill, it's very easy to see the path that the power lines take through the landscape.
That's almost the wrong way that I took. And this here, that's the right way.
After rounding the north end of Summit Lake, it's time to get back on the tarmac on the south end. Now the sun is really out in full force and the landscape is just gorgeous. The original route that I saw someone else ride went back on Highway 101 to get back to Olympia, but I wanted to avoid the highway, so I crossed over by Rock Candy Trailhead and cut through the north end of Capitol Forest on my way back to Olympia. This adds some miles and especially elevation, but also an amazing view of Mount Rainier. These clear winter days have some of the best views of the snow-capped mountains around here. After spending most of the day in the forest, it was good to be back in an urban environment. In keeping with trying to avoid traffic, I cut through South Puget Sound Community College and headed up Tumwater Hill before getting on the final stretch, heading home.